damn it, get me the manager. And I'm like, well, the price is just what up. Get me the manager. And Judy, the person who was the same age as these, she was like the grizzled veteran manager. She'd saunter over in her smoker's voice, like, it's 40 cents now. If you don't like it, go home and make your own coffee.
Remember when you got your first job, that feeling of pride, that feeling of being grown up, that brand new sense of responsibility you had? And better than anything, that first paycheck? There was nothing like it, was there? And if you're like most people, you've probably had a lot of jobs in your life, from clearing the table as a kid to mowing lawns as a teenager to maybe one day walking through those great golden arches. And today, that's exactly what we're talking about. This is Remember When Radio. Today's episode is all about first jobs, the lessons, the chaos, the people, and the moments that shaped us into who we are today. And just like one of my first jobs, I won't be doing it alone. I'm going to be joined by my brother, Garrett, who shared many of those same early experiences growing up with me. And together, we're going to look back on all those universal memories of first jobs. Gary, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm not too sure about all this pride for your first jobs you're talking about, but let's hear it.
Well, dude, don't you remember getting like your first dollar or something like that for like setting the table?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
come on. Was that
Yes and
that
no.
was awesome.
I was thinking more my. I went straight to the paper route job.
Okay, well, you know what? That's actually why I invited you on here because I did want to talk about that. And since you brought it up, hit me with it. Like, tell me about your paper route job because I remember a couple things about your paper route job, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure at first I was excited and a
Yeah.
little bit proud to have my first job until I actually had to do it. There's the morning paper,
Yep.
so every day, 7 days a week, 365, rain or shine, getting up at 5:30
AM.
a.m.
That's in the
Except for that
morning.
one, except for that one time, the first time I got drunk, but we'll get to that. Uh, so yeah, it started off pretty fun. I thought, hey, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make some money,
Yeah.
and then you start, and it's dark out, it's scary. You
Yes.
don't know where you're going. I'm pretty sure I would have done like a scouting route before just to get an idea,
Yeah.
but I was 12.
Dude, how old were you? Yeah, you were 12. I feel like
Yeah.
no one this day and age would send their kid out on a paper route, be like, you're gonna go up to this strange man's house who lives on this creepy back lot. You're gonna go up to his house at 4:30 in the morning by yourself, okay? Go ahead, have fun.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Dude,
There were some
terrifying.
houses where it was no problem,
Yeah.
but I think I had maybe two or three different routes throughout that whole
Dude,
career.
dude, I remember that, and I remember feeling bad for you when you had that paper route. Like, I honestly think, like, in North America, paper route is the closest thing we have to like child slave labor.
Yeah, it is because you don't really get. I think you got paid maybe. I don't. I can't remember if it was every 2 weeks or once a month, but I think the first paycheck was about $40. And I opened $40.
$40?
Are you sure?
Dude, it's like pennies. I remember it was like literally making pennies a day, like pennies per paper, because I had a friend who had a paper route and I used to help him. And yeah, every Friday after school we would do his paper route. And remember when they handed out like the snacks and the samples of stuff?
Oh yeah, I
Remember that?
always kept.
So we would always like eat the samples and like they'd send out like bags of chips and stuff, and we'd eat the chips and like steal the chips and stuff, and it was all good until like some of the seniors started phoning like I didn't get my sun chips. And then my friend, the paper would call him up, like, I don't know. And no one else wants to do the job, so they just like, look, Gareth, we know that you ate the chips, but we can't find anyone else to do this route, so just try not to eat the chips, okay?
Did you just call me Gareth?
Well,
Oh, your
my
friend Gareth.
friend Gareth had a paper
Yeah.
route, and we would do it, dude. And I feel like being a paper route was like the childhood equivalent of being a garbage man. Because like when you're done, you're done. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not getting paid by the hour. So it's like I feel like those guys who become garbage men later in life who drive in the trucks like a maniac and they're like sprinting from house to house. Those are the kids who like had paper routes and stuck with it their whole life until it like evolved into something better.
I don't see them sprinting anymore. They uh
Oh,
they
you're
seem to
right.
take time.
Okay, all right.
And they
You know
probably
what?
get
That's a
paid
great
more than
point.
I do.
Let's say a quick walk, brisk walk, brisk walk.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Okay, I gotta go back. You had your paper.
Yeah.
I remember one time, uh, I remember like I got in so much trouble from mom because I was at this party and this girl that I really loved, basically still being like a 16-year-old. My sound cut out?
I can't hear you.
Did my sound cut out?
It's really quiet.
Is that better?
That's better.
I need a new mic cable or something like that. All right. Well,
The sound without it is just fine.
all right. Anyway, yeah, so we went to this party together and she slept over at our house and I was gonna drive her home. Like she slept like in our house and I was gonna drive her home at like 4 in the morning before anyone got up. 5 in the morning. I totally forgot about your paper route. So I come home at like 5:30 after dropping this girl off and mom is just like standing in the driveway like livid. Like, where were you? Where where was the car? And it's like, duh. And I totally forgot about your paper route and I made you late for your route. And I was terrified. It was a scary one.
Where did we leave off? Anyways, I think we're talking about, yeah, what a horrible job it was. Yeah, you got paid pretty much nothing.
Nothing.
It was pretty scary. I
Was
think
scary.
the first, the second route I had a really creepy house. Remember it was that farm field.
Yeah, I do. That's what I
Yeah,
was
right.
thinking of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So there was no obvious mailbox.
Yeah.
I walked in, it's just thick bushes and a long dirt road through an orchard to two little creepy houses sitting at the top. I was terrified. It's pitch black, so I made my way up. Didn't see an obvious mailbox,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then just threw it on his doorstep. I
Yep.
was like, all right, well, I'm not looking forward to doing that every day. And then on my way out, I noticed the mailbox hiding behind a bush, and I thought, all right, okay, I'll put it in there next time.
Yeah.
And do you remember that guy? That guy called
He,
the Times calling us
yes.
to complain.
Yeah.
They gave him our phone
I
number,
remember that.
and he called our
They doxed
house,
you.
and which I can't believe they did that.
I know.
And
Yeah, we'll give
then
you the phone number of the 12-year-old boy you're looking for.
yeah, yeah, here's his address too.
Hmm.
Um,
Just in case you want to stop by.
anyways, Dad answered the phone, and yeah, put an end to that call pretty fast. Gave that
Good.
guy a piece of his mind. I can only imagine what he said.
We probably can't say it on here, but good job, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
Shout
Shout out to Dad for
out to
helping me
Dad.
a lot.
Probably something about sticking the phone up his ass or something. Would not surprise me.
Oh yeah, that's
And rightfully deserved.
oh yeah for sure.
That had some great,
Uh,
great, great insults. Yeah.
Dad really helped with the paper route a lot.
Yeah.
I owe him big time for that.
Yeah.
He probably enjoyed it.
Probably. Well, who knows? I don't know. We'll have
Who
to
knows?
ask
Who
him.
knows?
Yeah.
But I sure enjoyed the help.
Yeah. Well, dude, paper route is like it's a job not for the kid. It's also an extra job for the parents, I think. Because I remember mom and dad. I remember both of them like quite a few mornings, like getting up and driving you and helping you and stuff like that.
So I got a story here for you. I
Well,
think yeah.
that's
Like
not what this is about. We don't tell stories on this channel.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
We only talk about serious things.
So the serious thing here. The first time I
Mhm.
got drunk, uh, I guess I don't know 13. I
Okay.
still had the paper route. I sound like Ricky here.
Okay. Well, basically,
No, maybe 14.
yeah.
I think I had the paper route for about 2 years.
Hmm.
Let's say I was 14. First time
Hmm.
I got drunk. I think I woke up at like 4:30 a.m. I was still hammered.
Yeah.
Decided, well, I'm just gonna go do my paper route. Feeling awesome. There was no fear that day. That the scary houses did not scare me one bit.
Yeah. Try
And
me.
then about halfway through, I just ran out of newspapers, and I realized I hadn't been paying attention to the houses, and I was just going sequentially house to house. No complaints that day.
Yeah. Did you get fired for showing up drunk to work?
No, no, they couldn't prove it.
Yeah. Why? It's 4:30 in the morning.
And I was riding a bike.
Who's gonna know?
A big
I feel like I don't think kids get paper routes anymore. I could be wrong, but I feel like now it's like I don't know. I don't think it's 12-year-olds anymore. I think it's like people in their 40s who like recently moved here.
or like a retired job,
Yeah.
or those
Paper
guys
route.
with like 8 paper routes. They have the
That's what I'm
monopoly.
saying. Yeah, 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 yeah. Paper route delivery is like they're kind of like security guard to a police officer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like paper route considered compared to like a mail carrier. It's like
Worker, yeah.
security guard to cop. Yeah. You know, the mailmen see them and be like, yeah, keep dreaming, buddy. These are the big leagues. All right. Let's talk about okay, I got one I want to share.
Yeah, what
Uh
was your
well,
first?
we've jumped all totally off script, but I love it. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's talk about as you get a little bit older. Dude, mowing lawns, that was a great way to earn some
Oof.
extra cash.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about the fact that like when you're a kid, like I used to get $1 a week for allowance. Dude, that seemed like a huge amount of money. Because like a kid in 1986 taking $1 to 7-Eleven,
Went a long way.
dude, that went a long way. That's a lot of candy,
A
you
lot of
know?
5 cent candies.
Yeah, I feel like comparatively, I was like way wealthier back then when I was four. $1 a week compared to like my like professional salary nowadays, you know? I feel like I had way more spending power.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. I remember one, I'm not gonna name names here, but I remember one year one of our neighbors hired me to like paint the front of their house, like redo the front of their house. I think I was 15. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was 15. You remember? And Matt,
I
Matt,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And our friend Matt was over for the summer. Dude, we spent 3 days in like the blistering hot. I think it was like the middle of July. We spent 3 days in the blistering hot sun, up on the front of their house there on the shingles, like the hot shingles. Two of us working. Took 3 days to do all the scraping and the prep and all the painting and stuff like that. And this is one of those things, like you don't know anything when you're a kid and you don't really know how to like negotiate or like set a contract or make sure you're not going to get screwed over. You just kind of trust that the person who's like hired you is going to like take care of you.
Hi,
That
Lewis.
so after 3 days, person comes out and they're like, and we probably didn't do a great job. We weren't painters, but I think we did it good enough. And I'm sure this person might chime in later. Uh, let me know. But she comes out, she looks, she's got, well, you did a really good job. Um, wow, this is great. You saved me thousands and thousands of dollars. I want to make sure I pay you fairly. How does $100 sound? Do you know what I'm
What a
saying? Dude,
disappointment.
3 days of work for two people. Like we're like probably like six hour days here. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not gonna do the math right now, but that was probably like what, $6 an hour? I don't even know, dude. And if Matt hadn't been there, that would have taken me double. And I think I pushed for 125 and she took it. She's like, "Oh, well, there's not going to be any Christmas presents this year for my children, but fine, fine, 125, here you go." And dude, and then you know when you're young, you're kind of selfish too, like you're not very generous with your money because you never have any.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think I paid Matt anything. I think I might have bought him a Slurpee. Hey, dude, I appreciate your 3 days up on the roof with me on your summer vacation. Let me take care of you. Let's go get a Slurpee. But he was good with that. He's like, all right, man. That was awesome. Matt, thank you. That was awesome, buddy. I really appreciate that.
The irony.
Dude, the irony. And then the other neighbor hired me to paint their fence. Took me took me like 4 hours and they had painters there already and they sprayed half of it for me. They're like, hey, do you mind if we test our spray gun? And they sprayed like over half of it for me. Like, there you
Yeah.
go. And they winked at me. And I was so lazy back then. This is also in summer, so they had all their like bushes and shrubs and stuff blooming. I didn't even paint behind the shrubs. I like outlined the shrubs and went just a little bit lower. And I was so stupid, not realizing that come wintertime, there's going to be these huge unpainted patches on the fence because I was too lazy, but they never even talked to me about it. And they paid me $100 for like
Yeah.
3 4 hours of work. It really depends on the boss.
Well, you were working for the wrong neighbors
Dude, I
because
was working for the wrong
when I
neighbors.
said Gizmo there,
Gizmo, oh yeah, let's hear about this one.
I think what did I'd have to go over twice a day for maybe a week or two.
Feeding Steve's cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
his parents hired you to feed the cat.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure they paid me $200. I don't know. I was really not expecting much. It was not a
Yeah,
big deal to walk over there,
yeah,
and the Parkers had a cool house. So I'm
they
like,
did
oh,
have a cool house. I love their house. Go
and then
downstairs, play Steve's video games.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Look through his internet history.
are you sure?
Dude, that's awesome. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I remember that too. That was a sweet gig. That was like you working smarter, not harder.
Well, I just got lucky.
You did get lucky with that one. Okay, speaking of lucky, I got so many stories here. Okay, who, in your opinion, was the best boss you ever had? And I know who it
Grandpa,
wasn't. Yeah, I knew it was Grandpa. That's why I asked you that question.
grandpa.
Tell me what
Um,
it's like to work for your grandparents.
oh, it's just incredible.
Incredible.
Nepotism at its best. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
I'd show up, have a little pre-work visit.
yeah, yeah,
Usually, I had the option of a treat before, but I usually like to save it for the end. So,
totally.
he had his ways. I had to one time I would mow the lawn in a straight line,
Yeah,
and then the next time I had to do it on an angle,
yeah,
which took a lot longer. But
yeah.
it all evened out because at one point, it was dry in the summer. It was like giving a bald guy a haircut. It was easy.
Easy.
So, it worked out in that regard.
Yeah.
But and this was his pension that paid for it, right?
Yeah.
So I
No,
didn't have
no,
to feel.
it was the Legion, his war. It was like
Yeah,
because he was in the Navy in World War II and mowed
yeah,
lawns. You want
yeah.
to talk about lucking out? He freaking mowed lawns during World War II on the naval base.
But yeah, he'd let you know if you missed a spot or
Oh
screwed up.
yeah.
So
Oh
I had to
yeah.
make sure.
There was an inspection.
But yeah, I'd basically do the lawn. It would maybe take me an hour, hour and 20-ish minutes,
Yeah.
depending on how thick the grass was.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'd get coffee and a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the best grilled cheese
Oh,
ever.
dude. No,
I've
no
never
grilled cheese like your grandparents' grilled cheese.
no. So and I got to visit with my grandfather. It was
And
amazing.
50 bucks. I believe it was 50 bucks a pop,
No,
wasn't
it
it?
was 70 in the end.
Dude, you went up to 70
Yep.
and then you had to go and die. Just ruin the whole thing.
I think I was doing that until I was about
30.
34. And I remember thinking, this is crazy. I'm 34 years
See,
old.
mowing grandpa's
Here
lawn.
with my 95-year-old grandpa.
Yeah.
So sharp.
So sharp,
And,
sharp as a
and
tack.
I'm on his lawn. This is crazy. It
Dude,
was
that
one of
is
those times
awesome.
where you truly have to appreciate that someone's
Oh,
still around.
oh, dude, that's so awesome. Oh, totally. You know what? Okay, so best boss I ever had was Opa. So our German grandpa, right? For
Yeah.
people out there who
Yeah.
don't know what an Opa
He
is.
was, he was right up there too.
Dude, he was best boss I ever had. And grandpa, dad, and Opa. All three amazing. But so Opa hired me to like he had that heritage house with all the apartments and stuff. And
Yeah.
he hired me to help him do some painting. So he was a painter by trade, right? So he was an excellent painter. I was probably like, I think I was like somewhere between 16 and 18. I might have even been, no, I think I was even like 19 or 20. Dude, no, I'm going all up. I think I worked for him a few times and every time was good. I think I did that till I was 22, 23. And dude, I would show up and first thing I'd do, he'd be like, ginger ale? And we'd have a ginger ale, right? He'd hand me like a bottle of
Oh
ginger
yeah.
ale or whatever. And it's hot, gotta stay hydrated. And then I'd go and I'd probably do a really crappy job for like 45 minutes, half an hour. He'd come out, look at it, tell me to take a little break. And then he'd go up and actually do it because I didn't know what I was doing. He'd fix it, try to show me something. And then we maybe like do that for like a couple hours. Then we go to Oma's house. Like we go to their house for lunch, right? Lunch break. We go to Oma and Opa's house. And I still remember this conversation because Oma was like, what did she say? She's like, man, are you doing a good job? And Opa was like, "Ah, of course he's doing a good job. He's learning from the master." And Oma goes, oh yeah, sure, master. And Opa goes, yeah, master. I've been painting for 50 years. And if you're not a master after 50 years, you're just an a-hole. And I was like, yeah, no, he's right. If you've been doing something for 50 years and you're still not good at it, like there's a problem. But dude, I always remember that conversation. Then we'd go back for maybe like an hour or two. And at the end of the day, there was no salary. He would just open up his wallet and he was old school, right? Just tons of cash in his wallet. He'd just take out like a 50 and a few 20s. Like, there you go. Maybe he'd pick out like close to $100 for like a few hours of work. Very subpar craftsmanship on my part. And he was just so generous, man. It was just like there's something about working with and for your grandparents. It was just so awesome. Like it's unparalleled, like compared to anything else.
That's true. I remember doing a few jobs for Opa, and he was always very generous.
Just super generous, man.
I mean,
Oh,
obviously, Opa was probably tied with Grandpa, just in the obviously he
totally.
ended up
Well,
doing
yeah,
more for the
totally. Totally. I mean, I enjoyed my share of grilled cheese sandwiches at Grandpa's house too, you know? It was awesome. But I like that we each have like an awesome memory tied to both of them.
Yeah, but there
Yes.
was nothing like getting slipped a $20 bill from Grandpa for nothing.
For
Just
nothing.
had to get that look on his face and
There you
hand it over
go.
to you.
Yeah, I know.
That that $20 was priceless.
Oh, it was awesome. It reminds me of that scene in Dumb and Dumber where Lloyd's standing outside the hotel, just handing money to all the employees. There you go. There you go. That was basically Grandpa. Um, all right, let's change course a little bit. What would you say, what was the job that you were like the worst employee ever at? What,
Ooh,
you know,
probably when I was a gardener. When I
Mm.
took over,
when you took over my job when I referred you
well,
for it.
you
What
worked
was her name?
for
Edna?
Dick
Edna.
and Edna, but I worked for that lady below them.
I didn't know there was a lady below them.
Yeah, she had like a massive duck pond, and
Oh
I
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
on the other property. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I think she took me out for it. She's like, yeah, so just pull the weeds out here. Sound good? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I know what a weed
And I'm
is.
like, the hell? Which ones are weeds? Which ones
Yeah,
are
dude.
flowers? So started pulling it all out. Pretty sure they were all weeds, but I had no idea what I was doing.
No. Dude, I
Yeah, that
worked.
didn't last too
Yeah.
long.
How long did that job last?
At
A couple
least,
hours?
yeah, at least probably one summer.
Yeah. That's a sweet gig, man. I remember working for Edna doing landscaping and stuff, and she hired me to put up her Christmas lights, and I couldn't believe I was getting paid for that.
That's
That
pretty
was
sweet.
awesome. You know what? Okay, so worst employee I ever was, well, actually, there was a few. Sylvan. That was pretty bad working at Sylvan. But definitely when mom hired me, I worked at this contract with mom. I was going to do all the house chores like dusting, vacuuming, putting away the dishes, like clearing the table, all this stuff. She's going to pay me $80 a month. And I think I was like 13 or 14 and I'd worked this out. And dude, $80 a month at that point was like huge money. But I was the worst. I was so bad. I would like, I don't think there was a single week where I actually did everything. Maybe the first week, maybe the first two, I don't think so. And I would like do it on like my own timeline and like weeks would go by and I hadn't done everything and I'd do like I would just vacuum or just dust. And she eventually had to fire me. And you know, she was right to do so.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
What was your first like salary job where you went and you legit kind of like the stakes were a
McDonald's.
little bit higher.
McDonald's.
Was it McDonald's?
It was, and they started me off this bullcrap training wage. I think minimum wage back
Oh
then
yeah, I
was
forgot
eight
about training
dollars,
wage.
and they said unless you had 500 hours work experience, they pay you the training wage, which was like
Oh,
$6.50,
dude,
and
that's
they
so
didn't count
criminal.
my paper route as a real job. Can you believe that?
That's yeah, I can. That's the first red flag. McDonald's is a
Yeah.
awful company.
So that was my first step into that world.
Yeah,
It
dude.
was the best and the worst job.
Yeah, it was. You know what I remember about McDonald's? So like we both worked there. I got my job first. I skipped over my church janitor job, but that's okay. Um, No, I want to talk about that real quick before we get into McDonald's because that's kind of like the meat of the episode. Dude, my closest thing I ever had to like a real job before that was when my friend Sean at the time got a job as a janitor in a church, and I think we were like 15, and he got a job that summer, and I was so jealous of him. Then all of a sudden he had a job and he was getting a paycheck and he was cleaning this church, and I remember talking to him about it. He's like, "Well, dude, the guy needs to hire more people. Let me see if I can get you a job." And like, dude, within like 2 hours. I was a new custodian at the church and I was so stoked. And but the problem was this guy, there was three of us. We were all teenagers. Sean's other friend Dan, me and Sean. And it started off pretty good. Like we would go clean the church and stuff, but then later on he let me bring my friend Craig on. And then it just turned into like the three of those guys like screwing around, like playing floor hockey because they had like a big play center downstairs, like a daycare inside, like a big gym. Dude, we would just go down and like play basketball, play floor hockey. Yes, I was guilty of also like doing it, but I feel like I was the one guy in the crew who was kind of like, come on, guys, like we should actually like get back to work. And like, no, it doesn't matter, man. They're just like shooting hoops and stuff like that. and our because our boss wasn't there. And I was like, well, I don't know,
Somebody
man.
was watching you.
What was that?
Somebody was watching you.
Well, he came the so like one day after he calls us all in for a meeting like the next week. It's like, I want you guys to know the church has eyes and the church has ears. That's all I
God,
said. Dude, and these guys were like, I know for a fact, because they told me, they were like, they would go into the pastor's office and like rifle through his desk and he had a pack of cigarettes in there. One of the guys stole the pack of cigarettes. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You can't steal from the pastor. He's like, hey, he's a pastor. He shouldn't be smoking. So they would just like legitimize all this stuff. And dude, we all got fired except Sean. And Sean was like the ringleader, man. He was like the worst guy.
he probably ratted you guys out.
I probably threw us all under the bus. But the thing I remember about that one is I had this floor buffer, and I was this tiny little guy. I didn't hit puberty till I was like 20. And the other guys were pretty big guys, right? And there was this floor buffer that we were supposed to use. And every time I tried to turn it on, it would just like spin me in circles like crazy, dude. It was like watching one of those construction accident videos on YouTube. And
Yeah.
I could not handle this floor buffer, dude. And eventually I just have to let it go and it'd be spinning like crazy. And then I would run over the cord and I would keep like ruining the cord and like short circuiting the cord and stuff like that. And I don't know. That was I loved that job, but it was like my first foray into like the real work world.
Well, it sounds like you had an interesting experience nonetheless.
Norm Hillier Enterprises. It was a thing. And the guy never paid us on time. And then he'd like lie about our checks being in the mail. And one time we're gonna go into McDonald's right now, but here's my transition. I remember one time, this was when things were still good at that job. It was like this beautiful summer day, and he comes in, and we'd actually been doing a good job that day. And he's like, "Yeah, guys, the church looks awesome. Wow, you guys are really doing a good job. Hey, how'd you guys feel about McDonald's for lunch?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, dude, that was awesome. What a nice treat. Yeah, why don't I'll take your order. I'll go down. I'll grab everybody McDonald's." And we're like, "Dude, yes, that is rad." So he comes back like 45 minutes later, gives us our stuff. He's like, "All right, so it's about $7, $8 each. So I'll just take that off your paychecks. All right, guys, have a good afternoon." Do you know what I mean?
Whoa,
I was
what a
like,
cheap bugger.
dude, you cheap mother. So anyway, all right, I'm looking at the time here already. This thing's flying by. Let's talk about McDonald's, dude. Let's talk about McDonald's. Who wants to go first?
Well, you were there first, so
I
I
was there.
think
I was a pioneer. You know what my big memory of McDonald's was how long it took me to get a job there. And I don't, dude, I wanted a job there so bad. And jobs it used to be really hard to get a job. Like when I was like 15, 16, I spent 2 years actually trying to get hired places. And like I would like have a good resume, put on some nice clothes, go shake the person's hand, be polite. Couldn't get hired anywhere. And I even had a friend at McDonald's who was like trying to recommend me because it was quite nepotistic, if that's the right word, in that restaurant. And dude, I could not get hired. And I remember I would go in and like, yeah, can I talk to the hiring manager? And this like, it was always like this weird, like lanky 20-year-old guy. He'd come out with like this little spiky hair and like really like skinny little guy. He'd come out and be like, yeah, sorry, we're not really hiring right now, but try again in like 6 months or maybe like a year from now. And I was like, dude, 6 months or a year? What? I would go to school that week and some hot girl in my class would be like, I just got hired at McDonald's.
just gonna say,
Dude,
wonder why.
all the time. That was the thing. That was the thing. All these hot girls from my school kept getting jobs. And this will come into play as we go through and we uncover the what would you
Conspiracy.
call it? The conspiracy, the seedy underbelly of the clown world. Let's call it that. So anyway, so I finally got my job. You know how I got a job was when like a middle-aged woman started doing the hiring. She doesn't care what you look like. I'm not saying she hired me because she thought I was attractive, but that's what it took, dude. It took that
Probably.
creepy, yeah, hopefully. It took that creepy weirdo little guy to get transferred somewhere else. They bring in this other lady, Deb. Thank you, Deb. She's probably like in 30s or something like that. Hires me. Dude, I was so excited. I remember being so excited when I knew that I was going to get a job at McDonald's. That was like a life goal come true. I could not wait.
Big moment.
Dude, it was a huge moment. And I still remember this moment here where the day that she phoned me She phoned me in the morning to come in for an interview the next day, and I remember that day going to Arbutus Cove with all my friends from high school. Dude, it was like this beautiful, perfect summer day, and all the guys were just like skimboarding, hanging out, listening to music. It was unreal, dude. It was like something out of a movie. And I remember just thinking that, like, yeah, this is so awesome because like I'm on the verge of something new, and like this is kind of like the last. This is like one of the last days of my pure childhood here because I'm about to like have a
Man.
job. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big man. You know what I mean? And dude, I still remember that moment. And like the craziest part is that like when I think back to that moment now, it's such a transition point in my life. And I do a lot of those guys are like they're gone now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we're either not friends anymore or like they like passed away. And it's such a crazy thing to think about, man, because I like it's this perfect moment from childhood and just being a teenager and like just on the verge of something new and having no idea what I'm walking into. Because like, dude, McDonald's was a whole crazy world.
Oh yeah.
All right, you tell me a little bit about yours.
Well, speaking of nepotism, I believe
Yes,
you got me my job
I
there.
did.
Show up. I think I wore a dress shirt and suit pants and a tie to the interview. Completely unnecessary, but this is
Totally.
what you did back then.
That's what you did, dude. I did the same thing.
And then, yeah, I was all excited until I found out about that training wage.
Oh, it's
That
brutal.
took the wind out of my sails a little bit, but nonetheless, started my new job.
Yeah.
And then I think I started off on the till, which was just the worst.
Dude,
I
Till
hated
was so
the
hard.
till, especially if you had to do a breakfast shift because it was just all the same old people that came in there all the time,
Grumpy
always
bastards.
complaining, always wanting something for free.
Ah, the
Yeah.
worst.
And
Everyone
then
thinks old people are really sweet and nice. They're not. They were like the worst customers.
yeah,
Yeah.
rude,
Cheap.
patient,
Yeah, impatient, rude,
deceitful, bringing an
deceitful.
old receipt,
Oh,
saying you're
dude.
something on it.
I know. Do you remember how they used to come get their senior coffees? It cost them like 35 cents. And they would sit in the lobby for 3 hours and they'd have like 10 refills. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
You
Or
know,
one
so
one guy would get a tea bag and his
oh,
eight
dude,
buddies all
share
share
it
a tea
among 10
with
people.
hot water.
Oh yeah, dude, I totally remember that. I hope you guys can't hear that. Someone's having a freak out in the background. It's my wife or my daughter. I'm thinking
I
it's my
can't
daughter. That's a
I
big
can't hear
time freak out. I hope that's not coming through. Shut up. Anyways,
that. And
uh
then so yeah, I
yeah,
started
go.
off with the till, and then once I started making the burgers,
Yeah, yeah.
oh actually there's the till, then there's
Yeah.
drive through.
Draft, yeah, was the worst.
It was, and you're isolated back there. You're just in your little booth, it's cold, sucked. You can
It
hear
did
everyone
suck.
laughing and having fun, and you're at the very end on your own.
Dude, I know.
And then once you started, sometimes you'd be on fries. That was hot and greasy.
Dude,
That sucked.
fries was like the closest thing I've ever had to a hard job. It was
Working
so
like
hot and you got that oil, that bubbling oil, and you're just like so
yeah,
worried about burning yourself.
you're just salted by the end of your shift.
And it sucks because every single person who comes to McDonald's orders fries.
Yeah,
So you're always like, "Whoa," and it's like, dude, it is like they need a robot there. Like, bring in the
oh,
robots for the fry
I'm sure that's
machine.
coming.
I'm sure it's
What about
coming.
what about those a holes that wanted no salt on their fries, and then you had to clean the scooper
Yeah, I
and
hated those people. And then they'd ask for a package of salt.
if you're
I'd like a large fries, no salt. And so you think they have like some health restriction. It's just so they can get super fresh ones. And then as they're about to walk, as you hand them the no salt fries, like, and I'd like a package of salt. And you're like, burn in hell.
yeah, you're trying to be healthy. Don't eat
Yeah,
McDonald's.
oh yeah, I'm watching, I'm very health conscious. Okay, well then you're in the wrong spot, lady.
yeah,
Hate to tell you. Do you know,
but
I remember this is funny. So speaking of the seniors and they're like their 35-cent coffee, I remember every year the price would go up and the price would go up about 5 cents and they would lose it, dude. And I would be on the till those mornings and I'd be like, all right, that's 40 cents. I'd be like, no, it's not. It's 35. I'm like, no, it's 40. And they're like, no, damn it, get me the manager. And I'm like, well, the price is just what I've get me the manager. And Judy, the person who was the same age as these, she was like the grizzled veteran manager. She'd saunter over in her smoker's voice, like, it's 40 cents now. If you don't like it, go home and make your own coffee. And then she'd just like go back to doing whatever
you
she was
didn't take
doing.
any crap.
Dude, Judy did not take crap. I love Judy. And these guys weren't going to argue with her because Judy was she had all the power. And
Judge
she knew
Judy.
very well none of these people were going to go home and make their own coffee. And dude, I loved the way she did that. She could get away with it, you know? And I just, oh, Judy,
Uh,
hats off to you. Probably gone now, but legend, legend.
who knows? She could still be working
You know,
there.
I did. Could you
Maybe
imagine?
her ghost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the big fear, I think, working there was like you saw the people who were lifers
A
and you're like,
lifer.
that looks like a horrible fate. And there was generations of lifers. Like Judy
There's
had a daughter. Her daughter worked there. And
yeah.
I loved them both. Wonderful people. But and then Judy's granddaughter worked there. And it was crazy. Like, love those people. They were such nice people. But yeah, it was weird. Like you saw a lot of people who just stayed there. And I feel like they never went for something better, even though they could have. You know, lots of options, but they just like stayed there.
You're comfortable.
Dude, comfort will kill you.
Yeah. I'm hey, nothing wrong with
Whoa,
just
whoa.
being comfortable.
Do you know that there's a Freddy Krueger behind you? I just noticed.
Oh,
Sorry. I guess if you're listening only on Spotify, that won't make sense to you. But Gary's background is Freddy Krueger and the Predator, and it's been on for about 40 minutes, and I
and
feel
Michael
like I've
Myers.
just noticed it.
He's
Yeah.
peeking in the window.
Yeah. Dude, without naming last names, if you had like top, well, there were so many. Let's talk about the top three most memorable McDonald's characters. Because I got
Um,
two right off the bat.
no names.
No last names. We can do first
Okay.
names.
Jeremy.
Jeremy M. Yes,
Yeah,
dude.
most
Coming in,
memorable for sure.
coming in for a super.
Yeah, I got a 10-incher. Okay, thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy. Don't remember asking. Um, dude, yeah, that guy was a lifer, but dude, you want to talk about characters? Like you want to see characters, go look at the people who look like they're destined their whole life to work at McDonald's. And I just dude, that guy was so hilarious. So for people who don't, well, I guess most people don't know who this guy was, some will. There's this guy named Jeremy, and he was this tiny little guy, tiny, scrawny little guy. And this guy, like, I would say he put his whole heart and soul into McDonald's, but he wasn't a hot girl, and the managers hated him. And I don't know why I hated him so much. Well, they didn't hate him, but dude, he was
He
like the
wasn't in the
black.
club.
He wasn't in the club. That's the
He was
thing with the managers, right? There was a club, and if you weren't in the club, kind of like politics and like like the superpowers in the world and stuff like
it
that.
was
If you're not
very
in the club,
specific.
what was that?
Puffy vest pickup truck driving club.
Dude, managers had a club. I would say they had a cult because like anytime someone got promoted to a manager, they all started dressing the same and they would have these black puffy vests and they all got the same truck. I can't remember what kind of it was like
Ford Ranger.
dude, yes, it was a
And,
Ford
and the loud spiky hair, frosted tips.
frosted tips, Ford Ranger puffy vest, and they all hung out together. And I remember like I wasn't a club guy back in the day. And oh, someone's about to bust in here. I can see where this is going. Anyways, dude, I was not a club guy. And then they would sometimes like, yeah, you got to come out. And I want to get promoted to manager. So if you did want to be a manager, you had to go hang out with these guys, party with them and all this stuff. But I just hated the club so much. Couldn't bring myself to do it. But I would drive by sometimes with my friend Mike and would see these guys all hanging out at the club. They were like clones of each other, dude. All had their Rangers parked on the street, their vests on, their hair dressed the same, acting the same. I remember my friend Murray got promoted to a manager. All of a sudden, he started acting like
Oh yeah,
that.
I
Dude, it
remember.
was, and remember the one level above those guys was when you had the district managers, and the leader was this guy named Kelly, and everyone was in awe of Kelly. But Kelly was a dick. Like he
He
never. Do you remember that guy?
he was the equivalent of Todd Packer in The Office.
He was Todd Packer without the sense of humor and likability. He was like he was just like this mean guy, and he never said anything to people. I never saw him smile. Dude, people were so terrified of this guy. And I remember like he'd have his little entourage, and once these people had become district managers, they traded the puffy vests for these long black trench coats. They were like the trench coat mafia of McDonald's.
I remember.
You remember those guys? And they come in, nobody would
Yellow
smile.
shirt.
And you could, yeah, and you could have like a guy who was a really friendly manager who got promoted to district, and then dude, their whole personality changed, and it was really weird.
It's the power. It went to
It
them.
went to their head. Yeah, yeah, I control the prices of the fries. But dude, I remember I was so like I stayed at McDonald's way too long. It was like it wasn't my first toxic relationship, but it certainly coincided with probably my first toxic relationship. And I just stayed there too long and I just didn't care anymore. Like I was doing a good enough job to not get fired. And like I was pretty good working in the kitchen and stuff. I sucked everywhere else, but I was like the heart of the kitchen. I was the grill master. And I remember one time Kelly and his entourage were coming through and doing a tour. Remember when they would come and do tours for quality checks and stuff?
Oh, that was the stress. Everyone
Dude, the
was freaking
stress,
out.
people went crazy. You would
Yeah,
think it was like a visit from the Queen if you actually cared about the Queen. And dude,
or goodness.
people would buy new brooms and keep them like hidden. And I was sweeping one day with one of the new brooms, like, what are you doing? That's for when Kelly comes. I was like,
It's a showroom.
showroom. Like, and I was like, calm down. And I remember working the lunch like the grill, the table, they called it table where it's made all the burgers and stuff when Kelly came and did his tour. And he always ordered like a crispy chicken with like extra mayo or something. And so like whatever, I didn't care. I made it the same as I made everyone else's. And I remember like after Kelly left, the manager comes up and he's like, Adam, I just want you to know, Kelly said that was the best crispy chicken he's ever had in his entire life. And I was like, I do
Good
not
job.
care. Like, could not care less. Like, I do not give a flying, you know. The dude, just
No,
the pressure that these people put on themselves. Like, you guys, we're making cheeseburgers here. Like, we're not, we're not
yeah,
saving the world.
no.
The stress was unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember getting to that point there. You just good enough to do your job, you just don't care.
You just don't care. When did you quit? When did your McDonald's relationship end? I think you quit before I did, which was made me look really bad.
I don't know. I was there for about 2 years,
Oh, that's the right time.
maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah,
But I just remember towards the end, not that I ever wanted to advance there, but
yeah.
girls that were hired at the same time were now managers.
Ugh,
And I remember one
no
day I
longer
was taking
fun.
out the garbage and I decided to put a garbage bag in the back of Matt, who is the head manager. And I put the garbage bag in the back of his pickup truck.
I
And he
remember
was
that.
so mad. He came storming through. He asked everybody except for me. He's like, "Do you have a garbage bag in the back of my truck?"
What truck?
That
Oh,
was
you
pretty
got a
funny.
truck? Oh, dude, I can talk about McDonald's all day.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the best thing about working there was the friends you made. Working
Dude,
with your friends.
dude, that was the most fun part. I've never had a job like that. I've never had a job where I had so much fun at work.
Nope, not
Teaching
now.
is teaching is the closest thing I ever had. But that was
Yeah.
years ago. It's been a long time since I had a situation like that, dude. And like I do you remember going to McDonald's parties? Like remember McDonald's staff parties?
Oh yeah.
Dude, those things were wild.
Well, I think I only actually went to one official staff party, but we all got kicked out.
Yes, I remember.
So
That was the one I couldn't
unfortunately,
go to. That was the one where I was doing my stupid university exam, take home exam, and you guys called me from it. It just sounded like you're having such a blast.
yeah. Well, it lasted. Well, it
Yeah.
lasted.
Yeah, well nowadays you could have sued them for kicking you out
Oh,
for
I
that.
know. We should have thought ahead,
It was all the guys dancing with each other and they kicked them out for it.
and we were smacking each other's butts too. I
There
mean,
was a
yeah,
lot of sexual harassment that went on at McDonald's. I forgot. I wanted
yeah.
to talk
It
about
just
that. Dude, that was just part of the culture.
it was.
You
It,
remember? You like,
yep.
I don't think a shift went by without someone, guy or girl, walking past and just wham, just getting
Usually,
you in.
guys.
Usually the guys, some of the girls got into it. And but there was always like there was a couple guys who didn't get the joke and they'd like like grab on really hard or
A
like
little too far.
keep their hand there way too long. You're like, yo, dude, come on.
Stare you in the eyes.
Yeah, I remember that. You're making me uncomfortable. Yeah.
Josh.
Dude, I remember like yeah, I remember I got to the point too where just like I said, it was a talk it was so much a cycle of like a real relationship where it starts off awesome. Like you dream about it, you idealize it, you finally get it, you're so excited. It starts off so awesome, this beautiful romantic period, everything's going awesome. And then like eventually the cracks start to fade or the cracks start to show and then the magic starts to wear off, you know? And it did just like real life, if you stay in that bad relationship too long, it will kill you. It will wear on you.
Yes, it will. Yes, it is.
I can see I've struck a deep chord. But like, dude, I stayed at McDonald's for 5 years, and I was like that, dude. No, that's too long. 4 years. No, it was 5 years. I think I quit when I was 21.
Yeah, but you're
Thank
going to
God.
school.
What was that?
Yeah, but you're going to school.
Yeah, but it was still lame. I was like one of the only guys. I was like in college and university now working with those like these 16-year-olds. I remember like all my friends had quit and all the kids there were too young and I couldn't relate to any of them and I didn't really.
Aged.
Yeah, I was, dude,
Yeah,
it felt weird to be like 21 and be like, I'm too old for this job. And then I looked
yeah.
at Judy and I was like, I wonder how she feels. She's like, stop looking at me, Adam, get back to work.
Yes, Judy.
Yes, Judy. Sorry, Judy. But all right, man. I know we're getting close to our hour here, which is crazy. Well, maybe 40 minutes because it took so long to do the tech. But I don't know, man. I just like as we wrap this thing up, it's kind of crazy when you think about all the jobs you've had in your life and just they all taught you something. They all taught you something about yourself, about other people, about how the world works.
Yeah, there's something, a lesson from each step.
Yeah, there was value in every job you had. And when I think about it, it's like, dude, what did I learn? What did I learn from McDonald's? It's like, I think I learned more about people than anything else, right? That there's like
Yeah.
the world's full of all kind of people, man. Like you met the most amazing people there. You met the worst kind of people there, whether they were customers or whether they were your coworkers. You know, you met everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as we I want to kind of wrap this up here, and I think my closing thought, my Springer final thought here is that every job you ever had pushed you to become a better version of yourself. Because when you started that job, you couldn't do it. You had no knowledge of the stuff, you had no experience, and yet it's like you showed up at that job, you grew up, you changed, you got better, you got more knowledgeable, you became much more capable than you were even a week before. And so just if there's something people are listening, if people out there listening, if there's something you're going through in your life right now and it's hard and you feel like you're never going to get better at it, just think back to when you were like new in a job when you were younger and just how you stepped up and you rose to the occasion and you actually made it, you know? Or
It's
you
just
got fired because you sucked. But then you got to go in EI, which I think was the best job anyone could possibly have.
you gotta screw up pretty bad to get fired from
Dude,
that.
you got to screw up or have a sweet job where it actually happens for you. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. Well, that's pretty much it, dude. I really appreciate you coming on and thank you for
Appreciate
sharing
the
your
invite.
stories. Yeah, bro. Come back, be a guest another time, okay?
Yes, me and the boys here.
Yeah, you and the boys. I feel like there's something more I could say, but we'll just save it for the next one. All
Until
right,
next
buddy.
time.
Thanks,
Remember
man.
when.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
All
And
right, see you,
thanks
man.
everybody out there. Thank you for listening. Uh, please tune in again next week. I have no idea what the episode will be, but don't worry, we'll have a fresh one up. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in to Remember When Radio with Adam LaRue and my special guest, Garrett LaRue. All right. Take care.
Bye.